these are irrelevant. I'm going to start with c4. Why? Because I know Blair often plays the Slav, and he hates the exchange Slav. So he's going for e6 here, avoiding the Slav. And when you know your opponent well, you can certainly strategize what you should be doing in the opening. Now the main move here is knight to c3, but after d5, d4, he might well go c5 in the position. So I'm just trying to think of an opening that will get him into a position he might not be so happy with. So I'm going to play knight f3, and this is an old system, not an old system, it's like, I would call this the modern reti, and this is a move where I'm hoping it will get Blair out of his prepared variations. He plays the Queen's Gambit, and now there's a number of moves here, the most common being g3, but I'm going to play e3, and this is a line I played a couple of years ago when I was playing over the board before COVID. I played it in the Isle of Man competition. I had some good results. I beat some 2600s over the board, and it's a line that Magnus Carlsen actually prepared. And again, this is when you know openings. You know, I'm trying to get my opponent into a position he might not be comfortable with, and I know that because of prior knowledge. And if you think at the high level, this might not be relevant lower down, but at a high level, think of the mind games that are going on between the top players. They know each other's games so well, they're just trying to get their opponent into something a bit uncomfortable. And thank you for the sub there. This, by the way, and if I miss what you're saying or anything, I do apologize. Hello Marpants, hope you're doing all right. Marpant is saying, I just became World Women's Under 2000 champion. Wow, thanks for your courses and your chess. Oh wow, that's amazing, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Really cool. That is a major achievement. So, well, I mean, thank you for thanking me, but it's your own hard work which has got you there and done that, so give yourself a massive pat on the back. Well done, Marpants. Proud of you. That's really a great achievement. Well done. That's a good way to start a Friday. I like that. It's a very nice comment. And Marpants, and I can't pronounce it correctly, which I'm saying, celebration stream for Sunday night and Fiona's. Oh, brilliant. Okay, well that's great. Well done. Congratulations. Okay, so the line I play here is now b3, and obviously at the start of the game you've got to have a game plan, and I do know the strategy here reasonably well. The strategy here is that this bishop is a tremendous piece on this diagonal because Blair has put his pawns on light squares, and I'm going to try to play on those dark squares there, and this means I don't really want to put the pawn on d4, which is the traditional way of playing, because if I put the pawn on d4, my bishop runs into that pawn. Hello Yebjorn. By the way, Yebjorn is the guy to thank for the brilliant development of this website, GChess, which is going very well. And obviously, if you want to support me, go and check out GChess, I'd say, and subscribe. But I won't go into that too much. You're probably getting annoyed with me going on about it, but I'm very excited about it. So I like sharing my excitement with everyone. And Marpant has now subscribed for 11 months, and again, world champion is not something to be sniffed at. So again, my congratulations to you, Marpant. That's really brilliant, and very happy. Okay, so we've always got to consider what our opponent's trying to do, and when one side fianchettos, using the rook pawn against that fianchetto is a very standard response. And if I played here without thinking about my opponent's move, well, it feels like that's not really what I want to be doing, because I allowed Blair to do exactly what he's trying to achieve. So I want to improve my position but stop my opponent achieving the things he wants. So in this position, I'm going to move this knight out. Now it does block my bishop, but the only thing I'm worried about here is if he's able to ever play c5 and d4. But if Blair ever plays c5, now that he's got a pawn on a5, you've got to think about weakened squares, and the square on b5 will be under my control. So I'm not really worried about him going c5. And my game plan here is bishop b2, I'll probably develop the bishop, and then I can either castle, play a slower game, or I might even be able to play g4, g5, which combined with the bishop in this diagonal is a pretty good tactic to achieve. Jen's Chess getting some good comments today. I want to be a GM said he beat a Grandmaster. Jen's Chess, thank you for subscribing, and I'm glad my Chessable Jabava course helped you win a game. And Yebjorn is also mentioning that it looks like I might be, it's not totally confirmed yet, but I might be over in Oslo for the World Chess Championships, which I'll be very excited about. I love Oslo, I love Norway, I love Scandinavian people and the countryside and everything, so I'm very excited about that. And I might even better catch up with Bjorn for a beer, which I'm even more excited about. So that's going to be good. Andre, where can you write me about my courses? Well, one thing you can actually all do to help me out, which is free, if you brought a DVD or a video from GingerGM, then if you could leave a review on the GingerGM website, that would massively help us. And the GingerGM videos are quite cheap. They range from £10 for a 5-hour DVD up to £100, but generally they're around £20. You get a lot of value for money. Okay, so we've got to think what Blair's trying to do, and with this move, it's clear, I think, that Blair wants to play d4, which is the move I mentioned previously. Now, if I blindly go bishop b2, d4, I might better play this way, takes, knight takes, but I'm kind of allowing Blair to do what he wants. I mean, that might not be so bad. Bishop here, d4, captures, 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 because I have some knight b5 there, captures my bishop, knight takes b7. So bishop b2. So I know he wants to play this move. So the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, is that a bad move? If it's a bad move, I will allow my opponent to play it. I'll let him hang himself as such. Bishop b2 here, takes, 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 knight b5. And of course, calculation is very key at levels of chess. And then the queen should probably, therefore, not take on b2. I think that will work out well for me, even though I'm not entirely sure. That gets extremely complex. The other line I can do is just take here and pin the knight, which seems like a very good positional idea, actually, and then play on these squares, because now that Blair's gone a5, I've mentioned I have this square. This is my backup plan, but I'm just going to calculate this one more time. Here, takes, 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 queen takes. And I've just realised there that I might be able to play knight to d5, but then queen e4 check, and my knight has to come back. We get a really weird position. But there's something about it I don't like. I don't like it, the fact that his bishop can come in, and maybe I'm just playing for tricks there. So I'm actually going to now take on d5. Now if he takes with his knight, I will go bishop b2, and I'll just continue because I stop his pawn to d4. If he takes with the pawn, I think I'm going to go bishop b5 because I want to take over these two central squares. Because by playing pawn takes bishop b5, if he goes d4, I can go knight takes d4 and win pawn. The best place, by the way, to contact me, I can't always promise our answer. I try to. You know, if you email me at simon@gingergm.com, I try, but I get a lot of emails and sometimes I just forget. So I'm really sorry about that. That's probably the best way to go about it. So you can try. If you've got a question about the courses, I mean, again, if you've brought one, just leave your reviews on, you know, even if it's a bad review, we want to improve, but hopefully we get more good than bad. If you want to leave a review, like I say, on gingergm.com on a product, that would be really good. I think you have to have purchased the course already. Okay, so Blair has gone for this, and I think I naturally now develop my bishop, and I'm trying to take advantage of one of Blair's moves because he might want to play this a6 move at some point. Now he can double pin, he can repin me here, which is not a stupid idea, but then I've got ideas of h3 and g4. The bishop comes back here, my knight can dive in, which will lead to a very interesting position. My plan, okay, so he's played it a lot more sensibly, and my plan now is something like bishop b2, and then I'm going to move this knight so my bishop can control these central squares. So I'm basically going for this control on the dark squares here. Now, do I need to castle first, or is it more important to put the bishop here? Does it even matter? I feel castling can wait because my king can do this at any moment, and it's maybe more important to play this move immediately. This seems like the right move to me to increase the range of my bishop, but Blair's got some active piece play here as well, and I'm a little bit worried about my king side in some situations, I must admit. So I'm gonna bring this knight is never really doing much here. Now, could I play an idea with queen c2? Well, not really, because his knight has a lovely square. I think I'm gonna have to castle this way. This looks like something I'm gonna have to do at some point, but his bishops are very good there. Can I bring my knight around here to try and take a sting out of the bishops? I've also got to worry about knight coming into this square. So maybe the way I played the opening hasn't been ideal in actual fact. So what strategy are we going to use here? Knight here, he comes in here, and that looks all right for him, but I can get a check and I can go d3. So I think this is all right at the moment. I want to increase the range of my bishop, and I want to maybe bring my knight, up to somewhere like d4. I was thinking f4 originally, because then I have ideas of taking the knight and hitting this pawn. But if I go to f4, he might just whip it off now. So probably the move I'm just got to be a little bit careful of is knight here, but I can take the bishop with check. And after queen takes, play d3. But in actual fact, knight here is certainly a possibility that Blair has. So my idea looked attractive when I first played it, but actually now I'm not sure. Not sure it's as attractive. Okay, someone just reminded me to put leadchess.org in the title, because then it pops up on the lead chess thing and we get more viewers, so I guess we better do that. Thank you for reminding me. XYM. Well, the reason I'm not putting the pawn on d4 is because the whole point of putting my bishop here is I want to keep the range. And if I put my pawn on d4, I'm suddenly, that bishop becomes terrible. So the idea of this opening in general is to hold back on this pawn and try to use these dark squares for your pieces. So this is the strategy. And again, when you pick any opening, I feel it's very important to know what strategy you're going for. Now, in actual fact, knight b5, I think I can just take on f6, because if he takes his pawn, I'm very happy. I think he gets some dynamic chances, but I'm all right. But if he takes the queen, I can move his king out, and that kind of thing I don't mind, actually. Something should be all right there, I feel. So I want to put the pawn on d3 to keep this bishop, but I suppose with these bishops looking at my king, I'm a little bit concerned. But I think if he castles, I probably should castle, because I'm more worried about his knight coming in here. So something like castles, and then bishop g4 slightly concerns me, but I think it's all right. So Blair's playing a very sensible move here, just moving his queen to a normal square. Now, what's he trying to do with that move? I mean, it seems sensible, but what's his idea? Is he waiting for my knight to come here so he can go h4, h5, h4? Has he got any? This is the only move I'm worried about, so I'm very tempted to play a3. The other thing is, I quite like my queen on this diagonal. It also helps me move my knight in here, but I can never go queen here if his knight can come in here. And the problem is, even if I go a3, queen c2, he might even have knight there, because if I take, he takes my bishop. Even queen b1 is not completely stupid. Now, can I even take here? I don't know. Well, I'm just thinking, okay, so castling is clearly the main move, and then I think my king's going to be safe there. Should I mean, I'm thinking he can throw his pawns up, but we've got to have faith that I can get some counter chances. So actually, I'm thinking now I should just castle, actually, and then decide what I'm going to play, because then maybe my knight can still come to f4. Okay, let's castle. Let's castle. So the only reason I was holding back on that is because of these bishops. But this knight, now that I'm moving it around to the king side, I think it will stop a lot of his pressure. So with my knight on c3, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But my knight there blocks out his dark squared bishop. And if he does go bishop g4, well, I do have this pin, so I can move my knight into here, pressurizing c6. So, so I think castling must be right. We're going to see where he puts his king. I wouldn't assume he wants to go queenside, not with a pawn on a5. I can go a3 and b4. I mean, this is not really Blair's style. Blair prefers a more solid game as well. And much more likely he will castle kingside. So should he put the queen on e7? I'm not sure that was really a tempo that was needed. It's not a bad move, but maybe it wasn't quite needed. So after castling, let's get ready to prepare for what we think may occur. Maybe I can even play knight to f4, because if he gets rid of this bishop seems like to me his best piece. And oh my words, what the hell's happened there? EVAX toffee. Give me some toffee, boy. Give me some toffee, boy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, EVAX. That is certainly quite a lot of toffee for the channel. Thank you so much there. That is very much appreciated. So massive thank you. It's little gifts like that which are insanely generous and insanely nice and make me feel good and make me feel like, okay, great, people appreciate what I'm doing, and that is lovely. So 50 subs to the channel, I can only say thank you and toffee, and that was a hell of a nice bit of toffee there. So very much appreciated, and I thank you again for that very generous donation to the channel. I do try to stream when I get a chance. I'm doing a bit more YouTube at the moment. This video is going to be on YouTube as well. It's just hard finding the time to do everything, as you can imagine, with G-chess and everything else as well. So very much appreciated, definitely. Okay, I better get back to the game, but that's a very kind gesture. Okay, so you know, whenever you play an opening, it's very important to know your strategy in the middle game. And as you know from even when I played on move 3, e3, even though I don't know this position, I know the strategy that I'm trying to do is the dark squares, d4 and e5, I want to control with my bishop. And that's why I'm now thinking that knight f4 is not completely crazy, because if he goes bishop takes, I go pawn takes. This is a very strong piece. And yeah, my pawns are a bit ugly, but I do get rid of a bishop which controls the dark squares. So knight f4, now that his queen's here, becomes a lot more attractive, because I got a rook e1 getting another tempo. And again, thank you Toffee, very much appreciated again, and it really is. And we try to do our best, and I'll tell you what, it's been a lovely morning just tuning into Twitch, because the big news is Mar Pants, who's in the chat, said that she became women's under 2000 world champion, and a lot of that was from watching some of the stuff I create. And that is lovely to hear, that some of the things that I create, the DVDs, the courses, the things actually really help people, and it really helps them to achieve great things. So that makes me feel brilliant. Much more important than any money, but obviously the money helps me to do it. Let's be honest, you know, it is my full-time job. And world champion is a pretty damn cool title. Okay, Blair's castle. So I'm thinking knight here, and the simple threat of this is bishop takes knight and knight takes pawn. And if Blair captures, I capture with the pawn, and we get a very intriguing position where this bishop to me seems incredibly strong. Now, I could play slower with knight here, queen here, and try to get my knight to f5. Also looks okay. I could play a very logical move like d3, just stopping this knight having access to here and just improving my position, like d3 and a3 give me quite a good hedgehog Sicilian position. This is now basically a Sicilian structure, and again, knowing your pawn structures is so important. When you play the Sicilian, if you can imagine the open Sicilian, you get this position. So we are into a Sicilian as well. Okay, but let's think what I'm trying to do. Now, I quite like this move. Now, I feel that then maybe knight here is what Blair is thinking of doing. So knight here, and we have a lot of exchanges then on the board. So because my bishop's on pre, so maybe this is what Blair's relying on. Knight here, takes there, and that knight is quite handy. So this square, this is why the queen's gone here. Okay, this makes sense. Do I even give up this bishop? I don't know. It looks something funny about this move, but I could then go for this square. There's a lot of things to think of. So my first thought's knight f4, trying to take the knight and take this pawn. But then Blair plays knight e5, and that suddenly stops my plans. I mean, I could even move the bishop back here, but then Blair just goes c6, and it doesn't seem like I'm doing much there. So here, if I take there, my opponent takes here. So here, bishop takes here, and just something like knight. No, can't move that knight takes. So maybe this knight takes. What else can Blair do there? So if I can play this and I win a pawn after bishop takes here, I'll play it. He can't. Oh, he can take my knight. Queen takes here. Knight takes f4. Knight takes. Queen takes. Bishop takes h2. So this move is the move that Blair is trying to play. Now, something like rooks, there's a lot of tempting moves here, but I've got to get this right because this is a critical moment. Now, knight here, can I think of anything else? So bishop takes here must be correct. Now let's just look at knight takes f3, queen takes f3, and then queen takes d7 first. Okay, well of course, then I take here, don't I? So knight here, takes here is bad. So knight here, I take on d7. This is where you've got to calculate to get your positional goals in. Can't take with this knight because that pawn. Can't take with the queen because the knight. So has to take with this knight here. And that position looks quite interesting to me because I can bring my other knight in. Should we try? I don't know if we can play this a little bit slower. So I'm thinking, do I need to rush this? I mean, even a move like rook e1 is not stupid, just preparing for these ideas. But knights here is certainly, I mean, even just trying to get control of this square, like knight to g3. Okay, I'm going to go knight f4 because it seems like a very interesting idea. I'm not 100% convinced if this is the right strategy, but if Blair had a pawn on c6, it certainly wouldn't be. But I'm thinking that maybe this is an idea, but I don't know. It also, there's something about this move which looks, I don't know where that knight should have gone. The other idea was to move it to g3, which is a lot more positional, and try to come into f5. For example, either by playing something like queen b1 and knight f5, trying to gain the bishop pair, maybe a small advantage, risk free. That was the other way of playing, you know, just going for that. But okay, we're stuck with this one, so there's no point looking at other options now. And my main idea is to win a pawn. Take the knight, take the pawn on d5. And even that, the more I'm looking at it, I'm not convinced. So this is what I was looking at. This move was key. And now I have to swap the bishop off. So this is what I'm calculating. Now if Blair takes on f3, the pawn on d5 will drop at the end of it. So Blair has to take this one, and I thought he had to take with this knight, which he has done. So this is what we're calculating. And now I was hoping a move such as knight to d4 would be interesting. Now if he ever takes my knight, look at that bishop. And if he ever plays g6, I'm hoping my knight can suddenly go there and be annoying as well. So this is my idea. Use both of my knights to attack these light squares. And you can see how leaving my bishop open by not playing d4 may be a very important factor in this position. So I think I will continue with knight here, and the main idea is to try to gain some outposts for my knight, this square particularly. If he ever goes bishop here, I was going to go knight here, and then something like d4 is much more playable, but he can then take my knight, and is my bishop going to be weak? The other idea is to go this way, but g6, I don't think that's a move that Black would like to play because my bishop becomes stronger. So it's a kind of move you don't really want to play. And the other thing about this position, my queen can come out. So he has played it. Okay, So now knight b5 is critical. Again, if he takes here, I'm very happy, I think. If he goes bishop to this square here, then can I win a pawn? Knight takes. No, he goes knight takes there. So here, d4, bishop takes here, pawn takes. And I've got bishop here and knight takes c7, but I don't know. I don't like blocking this bishop in. Even, what's he going to do next? c6. Of course he will play c6 next. If he gets c6 in, his position improves. So can I go knight here, c6? Is there anything with this move? Knight to f5, pawn takes, queen g3 check, king h8. No, I don't have a good follow-up. So if he gets c6 in, his position is very solid. So I kind of need to do something here. So this one, bishop here. And if I take, he goes knight takes. So here, d4, and he takes there, and I take there. My bishop then is blocked. But I have this annoying move, and he has to defend c7. So it might be okay still. And I have rook here coming. So I'm thinking now knight b5 is certainly the move I want to play. Thank you, by the way, for anyone who's subbing, and if I miss you, I apologise. Let's have a look one more time at queen here, because this is also a logical continuation. Pawn here, and is there something like strong there? Tactically annoying? I don't think so. I think he's very solid. So this seems like the right approach now, to put the knight onto b5, and try. Okay, we're going to go for it. At least we get the bishop pair. But the reason I'm kind of a little bit hesitant is that after this move, I think I have to play d4, and then he gives his bishop up for the knight. And when I take with my pawn, my bishop is blocked in by this pawn. So it's thinking of maximizing your pieces and their potential, and that's it. Why is Harry not being used in this position? It will come, I'm sure. It will come. I'm hoping it will come. Now, if Blair ever takes on f4, yes, I double my pawns, but with no pawn on that square, look how strong that bishop is. Okay, so this move I'm happy about. I'm going to get rid of that bishop, and I'm like, right, okay. Blair is very solid, but I've got this lovely long-term bishop in the position, and this bishop to me seems incredibly strong. So am I worried about this one? Do I just play a3 and d3? I've got a nice position now. I've got to move a little bit quicker. Now this one is always an annoying move to play, and I don't know, a3 also weakens b3, but maybe a3 is a sensible move. I could also play something like queen c1, but if I go there, c5 is probably okay. My idea generally is to sort of play here, play it slowly, maybe bring the queen over this way. I need to break down this knight. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. But am I worried about this move? First of all, am I now worried about this move? If I am, I play a3. I've got to play quick. I've got to play quick. I'm playing a little bit slow here, and I'm going to need my time a little bit later on. So I'm going to play a3. And I think my queen looks best on c2, where I connect my rooks. And I can even put my queen on this diagonal later on. But it's not going to be easy how to break through. Maybe I'll be playing g4, g5. When I've got my queen here, for example. Maybe that's an idea, because this is the one thing stopping it. But you can see how these moves have made my opponent's position worse. But the thing I like about my position, whatever happens, is that I had a strategy from move 1, and that was b3, not to block this bishop in. And this bishop seems to be the most important piece in the position. So this is what the game's relying on. So I've done, by the way, the reason I'm stopping a4 is that I can meet a4 with b4 now. So I'm not stopping a4. I didn't really want to take there because my pawn structure becomes weakened if black ever takes there. But I want to meet a4 with b4. Now maybe Blair can go c5. Maybe c5 is not a bad move here in the position. And I'd love to... Okay, so Blair's playing a sensible move, rook here. Now, I could... Which way do I come? Do I come this way or this way? Now, if I come this way, what am I doing next? Coming here? and then going g4 or something. Queen c2 looks more natural here. Do we improve our rook and get, just in case he goes here? Rook c1. Queen c2. I mean, I love this g. Oh, or do we just play d3 and gain some more squares and just hold? Okay, as I'm short of time, I'm going to play a move which is only going to help me because I gain control of that square, and I'm going to be very patient here, and I'm not going to commit to which way my queen goes. I'm either going to c2 or to f3, and I haven't decided which is better. Maybe f3. If knight here, my queen hops somewhere like on the dart squares into the position. Maybe this is how my queen should be working. So Blair's putting the knight there. Okay. Now I'm gonna play my rook to c1, and again, time is important. Just because I'm a little bit thinking that this move might be playable, and Blair's trying to come here, but I can always meet that with d4. So is he going to play this move? So maybe I need f4 to break through there. My knight has possibly done its job on this square. f4 is quite weakening as well, so f6 is a nice idea. Now the other thing you can often try in these positions is e4 to open it up. So maybe here, controlling d4, then this one's a bit annoying. Do I even play h3 just to play a little safety first move, which controls g4? Okay, I'm playing all these little pawn moves just to try to improve my position, but Blair's now getting a solid blockade with this move f6. So Blair playing, as expected, some clever moves as well. The reason I'm putting the pawn here is I can envision, and I probably will move this knight now. I think it's done its job here, so I'm coming back. It's not doing anything on this square anymore, and I'm coming back. And one idea is I don't want to allow the knight to come here with checkmate ideas. Another idea, maybe I have f4 and e4 coming, and if I ever play e4, I was worried about d4 when my bishop's blocked, but now my knight helps defend that square, because obviously with the bishop I want to open things up. So I might just improve my queen first, and Blair's playing some very natural moves. But now I can hit this pawn over here. Does that help me at all? Well, he's going to go b6. Doesn't help me greatly. Do we go here? And if here I have b4, I've got to move quick. This is key. Now this one is very exposing, this one, so I'm not ready to play that. It's my knight that needs to be improved. Now, my time also. Okay, I'm going to have to play quick. It's annoying. Maybe we should make it even longer time limit in the future. But we're going to go here. I'm not maybe necessarily threatening that, but I'm connecting my rooks. And I've got to figure out the issue with my knight. Okay, Blair's coming back. And this knight, where are you going? Now, f4. Okay, I've got to move quick. E4 he takes. Do I go rook d1, which looks really peculiar? This knight actually coming. Okay, I'm going to go rook d1. And the idea is e4 is now a move I want to play. But after pawn takes, I want to be able to take with a pawn. And also, I saw knight c5 was playable. Okay, so he's coming here. And now I'm going to go rook e1. I'm lining my rooks up against his queen. But this knight, I'm still not sure where I put this knight. Where it's, I mean, do I put it on f1? Where it's very solid? Because at some point, these guys have got to come forwards. And it's heating up now in the middle of the board. I just played this without thinking, because it's nearly always a good idea to line the rook up against your opponent's queen. But this is a very tight, solid position. It's a very cagey position. Blair's holding it all together. I'm hoping that the bishop is giving me some advantage here. And I don't know if it is rated or not. Blair gave the challenge. To be honest, it doesn't matter if this game is rated or not. You can see that Blair's a very strong player. And this position, I want to. So my idea is these two moves, but I want to get my pieces to the right situation before I break. Why do I want to break with that? Because I want to use these two pawns to get through the pawn on f6. But my knight, I don't like my knight here. So I'm thinking even with the knight on f1, this would be stronger. The knight on f1 looks very passive, but it has chances to jump out later on. So maybe even I leave it on g3. So before I launch with the e and f pawns, I've got to think, now, is this an issue? My queen here, well, I think I'm just going to now move my queen to this square. Why? Because I'm defending b3. And again, I'm just trying to improve my pieces little by little. And this is a position where I don't need to rush that much, because if Blair tries to do anything, he could weaken his structure. For example, f5, he opens the position. If he now plays this move, I have d4 and I get control of that square. So in actual fact, I can be patient and I can even wait for my opponent to make a mistake. But this move must help me. I give that pawn protection. I stop the knight coming there. So I'm just playing little moves that improve my structure very patiently here. But in order to, okay, so now this is a very committal move, and I'm immediately going to come in there. And I say it's a committal move. This is what I was saying about maybe Blair losing a little bit of patience, potentially, but he is trying to push and do something active. Okay, so it must now be time to play e4, because Blair has suddenly weakened this square. And I'm going to play this move quickly, because I see a weakened square. So I think Blair lost a little bit of patience there by playing g5. And this is what I was saying. Sometimes if you just improve your pieces, you can wait for your opponent to overextend and play slight positional problems. And my knight now, remember I was thinking my knight had no good squares. I don't know if I had a better move. I'm a bit short of time, so I'm just playing very naturally and quickly without calculating too much. f4 wouldn't have worked there because my knight's on pre. I couldn't play this move, my queen's on pre. This is why I put my rooks, and this was the move I wanted to play, but I have this square. Okay, well now I'm certainly coming in there because I have this idea of knight d6, and Blair's put his rook into a situation where he's done that. So it's kind of this overextending of the position that Blair, it could really come back and haunt Blair. He has to play here, only way to defend. Now, already I've got an advantage. Doesn't mean I'm going to win. I'm thinking I could go d4, but my bishop's so nice. My queen, I don't know about my queen. Do I go here and hit this pawn and get on this diagonal? Maybe. It doesn't necessarily really help me, that. b6 again. Do I try to get my queen over here? This looks like a way to play. Timing, though, is okay. You know, my knight is a little bit loose as well. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, we're going to go here. I want to support this knight so that I can move the pawn on e4. So this is the way I'm thinking. I want to support that knight so I can take here. But after this one, his knight comes back. And I'm hoping my queen, a little bit near his king side, is also going to be good around here on g3. So he's stopping me immediately coming in. Good idea. And maybe I now come this way into the position. Is he going to play here? He's going to close me down then. And I'm playing far too slowly here, aren't I? This is really bad. Okay, you know what? I'm going to come back because I'm losing track of my time, because I suddenly saw I wanted to stop this idea. If he plays c5, I want to be able to take on d5, but I couldn't do that when my knight was on pre. So my knight can hop back in, and this move also stops that. Okay, so he's come here, and now I want to get my queen onto the dark squares. He's using the time against me, and maybe I can come in on some of these squares with my queen, and he's pushing forwards. Okay, so does my queen now come in? I think it does. This is my idea, and we have to now, a bit more of a blitz game now, come in. And I was all along trying to move my e-pawn, which I can now certainly consider doing. Now we can take and come in here, but then f6 drops and this drops. So I'm gonna take this one, and my bishop is still looking very strong here. So I just had to rearrange my pieces, and now, okay, he's done this move. My knight can come forwards, but then he takes here, getting very tricky. And then I take here, queen takes rook. Think I can play this, but I've got to calculate it. I don't know. This was tactically a bit risky, actually. I could have just come back. And this is where... Is it tactically risky? I don't think it... No, it's okay. If he takes everything off here, f6 is weak. And of course, you want to go forwards rather than retreat if you can. Calculate faster. Yeah, easy to say. So this... Oh, God. I'm just going to have to calculate this now. Queen takes... Rook takes here. I think it's good, yeah? But I can... This is what I wanted to play. This was a very safe move where I'm probably doing well, but this is what I wanted to play. But I was just calculating this line with little time, and it seems to me that this check is the move that does the job. And if he'd have taken on e1 first, I'd have had queen takes c8. So now I take here, and this is what I was analysing. And if he takes my bishop, I take his knight. And this, again, has been a triumph of the dark square bishop. And I think that's it. Oh, got a little bit nervous there at the end. Got a little bit nervous at the end there. Well, thank you for the game, Blair. That was a very tough game. I think I had that little advantage with the bishop, and as soon as Blair tried to come out a little bit in the position with g5, actually he weakened his position more, and I just had to maneuver my pieces at the end there so I could free up my e pawn to do some maneuvers. So it was a close game. Well done to Blair as well, and thank you to Blair for the game. Maybe Blair will come into the chat as well. Obviously the final position is losing because, well, he's an exchange down, his knight's on pre, and this is it. So I'm just gonna see. So we can. I'm gonna have a look at this on G chess just in a moment or two, just to see if there's any opening things that I can pick up from it. But it is a very rare opening that was played here. And again, playing c4 is a little bit crafty because I know one of Blair's favourite lines is d4, d5, c4, and he takes on c4. And the point of this strategy with e3 is this dark square control. And in actual fact, on pre means it can be captured, right? Yeah, that's it. I don't know, that's like a chess term. There's loads of weird chess terms like en passant, capture in passing. There are quite a lot of French terms, aren't there? En pre must be French as well. There's Zugzwang, that must be a German term. There's what's it, Vischenwunk? No, what's it called? Oh, that move in the middle. There's loads of German and French terms, aren't there? It's weird. I guess that comes from, you know, yeah, Zissenzug. Zissenzug. Is that the right pronunciation? I somehow doubt it, but yes, in between move. That's what it means anyway. What is the history of the language of chess? Well, I'm guessing that a lot of chess was played in Europe, in Central Europe, France, especially. You know, going back a couple of hundred years, so maybe that's where it comes from. But I honestly don't know. I have no idea whatsoever. Austro-Hungarian Empire, maybe. Hello, Chess Weeb. You know what? I just don't know. I don't know. Fide is French too. Yeah. Why? I don't even know. Why were Fides? Why is Fide French? That also confused me. Anyway, so we'll have a look at the game now. So I'm just going to go now and just have a look at it on G Chess. So G Chess is this website that myself and other people have developed. And well, I don't think we'll look at this game, but we can. I just want to. I mean, the one I think. Okay, let's look at it on. I'll just put the computer analysis on quickly. I don't know how to analyze it. I'll put it on G Chess, but okay. So I'm just going to move the screen. There you go, and just let me make this a bit bigger, so it's a bit of a nicer board there, and I'm going to refresh game. This is the new feature which we've developed on this site. And the new feature, we have a My Games tab. You just go to gchess.com and it brings up all your recent games that you've played on Lead Chess or dot. You just put your handle in and you press refresh games, which I'm going to do now. Hopefully my game against Blair will come up. Might take a little bit of a while, but you have these games here. So I can pick like a blitz game I played. I don't know, you analyze it and it comes up with resources here that tell you about where you maybe did something wrong. So for example, I had this position in the French defense and I took on c3, which is okay, but there's many resources that you can look at here. All of these different icons are a different resource. So you've got YouTube videos of this position, but the one that I think is really important here is this one. Oh, this is short and sweet. So you can see there's some very nice lines here. So you can learn from all our resources here as you go along. I'm just going to refresh the page, see if we got Blair's game in, and we can look at it on the board a little bit. Or does it have all of the YouTube ones? Well, let's see what it comes up with here. So I'll just do another one. Let's analyze the second game here. Okay, well there's no. Okay, we go this one. We should add you Chessweeb. Okay, well a YouTube video here. Let's just see what it has. So if I click on the YouTube thing, this is really clever. It will bring up this position which I had in a blitz game. If I press search, it will bring up YouTube videos it's found from this position, which I think is really cool because rather than searching through YouTube for a certain position you're interested in, you can do this. But you will have all these other resources. So I'll just play one of the videos. Which one should we go for? Shall we go for St. Louis Chess Club? Let's do that. And I'm just going to play this. And we just listened to 1 minute because this is a very interesting French defense position. I'm actually interested in this. This is not necessarily for my game against Blair, but it's one of my recent games. So it's a great way for me to look at other resources. And I'm just going to play this. We'll make it bigger.
Super sharp line, and even recently I've been trying to learn more of it from the white side, and there's so many different move orders, so many different ideas, so gotta be very careful on that.
Okay, maybe not the most use there. When someone says there's so many different move orders, I'm trying to learn it. I'm like, okay, we can go elsewhere, but you can see the idea. You can put any position on the board. So your blitz games, you can basically search your blitz games against YouTube videos, which I think is really cool. So you might get me talking about your position, and it will automatically do that search. The other ones which I like, well, we got the top games in this position, which you see Magnus Carlsen has played this. But let's get Blair's one. So I don't know if my game against Blair is going to have many fines because it was a very rare opening and it might not have anything there. So I don't think, and some of the ones you won't. But I can look at it still. Let's make it bigger again, the board, with the computer we have here. So let's just go through it and just see where we could have improved. So this is our deep analysis here. And e3, this variation, b3. Now a5 I think is probably a rare move. And after knight c3, I feel that a5 is a little bit premature and doesn't really fit in with this position, as I might play knight c3 anyway. Hello, Blair. Did we have a hater? Yeah, we don't want any haters to this channel. Definitely not. So anyway, glad you can come over. We're very open to everyone of every nationality and everything. Ban the haters. We don't need any of that. We're all in here for each other. So we leave it like that, please. So good ban. Okay. Now I think this all seemed very natural around this part. I'll put the computer on so we can just see what the computer says here, and the computer quite likes my position, as you can see. And knight e2, it takes a bit of time to warm up this computer. Where did it really go wrong for Blair? Well, I mean, even if we go, I think some of the important factors were, okay, maybe this can't be a mistake, it's going to catch up the computer. But later on, if we just go to the position, this all seemed very natural. And now I think here bishop e5 was the move this was the move I thought Blair maybe could have played. I think after c6 and I take here, white must be better. It's only a small advantage, but the bishop on b2 is so grand here. It's such a great piece. So I think I definitely relaxed a bit here, even though you should never relax. Maybe this move was possible. And I just played bishop a3 straight away. I didn't even see that. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking if I take the bishop, then knight takes, and I'm definitely not better here. There's no reason I'm better. I've got rid of my bishop. So I was thinking, I played d4. And then Blair can even just come back here. He could take the knight, but even if he comes back in this position, I've suddenly weakened even though I've gained a tempo by moving the pawn, this is a move I don't want to play because I've weakened my position. And this actually looks okay for Blair here, I feel, this structure, unless there's some tactics like this. But the computer is pointing out, and maybe I would have seen this, I can play bishop here immediately. And this makes a lot more sense. Now okay, it's still a bit complicated, but it seems like I should have some... Well, maybe this is what Blair should have played. And I think the next moment later on, if we go to this point here, I'm doing a lot of manoeuvring around. And again, you've got to be... I mean, I'm known as a very aggressive attacker when I play chess. But it's important, you know, I am a grandmaster, to be able to play every kind of chess style. And you know, even if you're known to be a great attacker, or if you're a better attacker than me, if you look at the games of like world champion Mikhail Tal, maybe the most famous of all attackers, it was clear that he played very slowly and positionally when the position demanded it. And here, the reason I'm doing a lot of maneuvering, so you can see I maneuver my pieces around a lot, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm improving my position. And I'm only doing this though, mainly it's all to do with timing. If Black had some dangerous ideas against my position, like some ways that could improve his position, then I would be playing with a lot more urgency. But I was figuring that he doesn't really have any pawn moves that can help him. For example, if he plays this one, which might be alright, I can play d4, and this probably helps me because of the weak pawn on d5. The computer always underestimates how bad these positions are, but it still gives me as a nice advantage. So I'm looking at pawn breaks. If he goes f5, well, this is just bad. Look at that bishop. I just go on this diagonal. So I'm kind of working out that anything Blair does makes his position worse. And I'm trying to think of just slow strategies that I can do. And my idea eventually is to push with these two pawns. But I was going to probably move my knight here, even back to f1, and then try to slowly use these pawns to open the position up more for this guy. But patience was key. And I think g5, which kind of looks a little bit logical because you're trying to get aggressive, was probably a big mistake because pawn moves make weaknesses. And you can see here the computer doesn't like that move. And this is when, if you play patiently, what you'll find is, and your opponent often will, Blair's pointed out as a little tactic somewhere, 24. Could I trapped his... Oh right, I could have played this one. You know what? I played automatically because my time was low. But of course, I can win immediately here with a very simple tactic. It's funny how the brain works. I was only looking at Blair's last move, and I was thinking, right, he might be to get b3. So I played queen c2 instantly, but in actual fact, of course, I can play f4 or d4, and I win on the spot. And it's funny, when I'm very bad when my time gets short, and had I had more time, I'd of course found that. So, well, yeah, that was quite a tactic I should have spotted, let's be honest. But around here, it just shows you that you don't have to force the game to win games. And I've been saying this all along. What a lot of top players do, they just play good moves. They're very, very patient. They improve their position and they wait for something to happen that will favour them. And now, as soon as my knight gets in here, my position has greatly increased. Yeah, I missed that tactic a couple of times. That was silly. I was my head was only thinking one way, which was a very basic tactic, as Cal Munist has pointed out. I should have seen that. Obviously, it's winning a piece, so no excuses there. But at least here, well, the computer's even giving g4, and that's actually interesting. So remember I said I want to make sure I can keep this knight here, because what I really want to do is take this pawn, because then I have all this play and more pieces come to life, but I lose my knight. The computer's pointing out if I go g4, I have the same idea, but I didn't want to play this because I'm weakening squares around my king, and I was trying to, with this move queen e2, defend my knight with my queen without making those weaknesses. But I've still got a good position here, I feel. I've moved my knight away so that I can move this pawn, and I'm now moving my queen to try to come in on these squares. And well, it's very difficult for Blair now, as I think I'm just picking up a free pawn here, and I've opened up this diagonal and the bishop is a champion there. So good game, Blair. Well played, interesting. I'm just going to use G-chess one more time. This is for my own benefit. So I just want to let's have a look at this game. I just want to see some of my recent games, because an opening I've been trying to learn, by the way, and something I did a course with Blair, is E5. So I played this in a blitz game, and one thing I recommend you do if you want to get better in your openings, and really there's a couple of ways you learn, right? You learn from watching, from reading, but the real way to learn is from doing. This is the same with anything in life, right? It doesn't matter if you're trying to make a table or play a game of chess. If you're trying to make a table, you watch a video on how to make a table, but you're never going to learn unless you make that blooming table yourself. So what we try to create with G-chess is you watch like a GingerGM video or any of the other resources here. So you learn the opening, then you go and play blitz, and these under my game tab are all of my blitz games I've played recently, and I'm trying to learn this move E5, right? And then what we've created is you can then come back to G-chess, press the my game tab, press analyze, which I've just done here, and you can find resources where you may have forgotten what you originally learned. So you can just go backwards and forwards relearning. So this opening here, well, D3, H6 is what me and Blair gave in our basically course, which was oh my god, our course for Chessable, the Club Players Dynamite. And the idea of this move is to play G5, and I think this is a very interesting way to play against players who play C4. And yeah, this course is on G-chess as well. And after C3, well, I played G5 immediately, and I have to say, when I played this in the game, I was thinking, what if he plays D4 here? And we can see that these moves here are potentially better suggestions, and you've got all the resources. So I'm just going to have a look. And in the game, the move I wanted to play was kind of D6 here. Just playing a good move and then getting ready to play this, because it gives my center more protection. But you've got a YouTube video, so I'm just going to use the resources on this now just to learn more about this position. So I'm just showing you how you can use G-chess to learn more about the openings you're trying to play. So this is for my own benefit, but let's just see what YouTube videos it finds. Oh my god, Benjamin Feingold, why is he not banned? Danny King, please show me what I should be doing. Okay, let's bring up Danny King. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. His high level of play. What is Benjamin Feingold doing on the bloody thing? It's pathetic. I'm joking. Let's see what I love Danny King's commentary.
Position. He plays G5. Here we go. Often that's a move that the white is trying to induce, because it weakens these squares. You might recall, for example, the game between Carlsen and Vitugov from the Tata Steel this year.
See, Danny King is brilliant, and see, Nepo has played this idea as well, which I find very useful. Okay, so I'm going to watch that video later so that I know what to do. But also, let's see, Fabiano has lost a game here, so I can look at the top games of top players. I can also put the opening tree on, which takes a little bit of time to load up, so I can get all the moves here, so I know what's most likely to occur in this position. This one here is probably the coolest tab, I have to admit. And this one, if you know anything about new in chess, if you're serious about your chess, new in chess is like if you are a New in Chess yearbook subscriber, we've now digitalized all of their books so that we can look at their articles. And this thing here, this is very interesting. He's got a whole article on this h6 move, so I can read this book by some of the best authors out there. Jerome is a real openings expert, and I can get an idea for it, and then I can go over the games that are relevant. So you know that game Danny King was talking about? I've got it here with very deep notes as well. So very, very cool way to learn. And that was after d6. So d6 seems like a good waiting move, and then g5. I love this way of playing. I love the way it's a bit like a black line, yeah? If you like playing the black line, this is the stuff for you, right? This is the stuff for you as well. And what other resources do we have here? I'm going to go back to, okay, the game I had. You keep all your PGNs up here, so you can go them. You can save them as well. And we've also got the top games on Lichess, top games on chess.com, and everything. So you've got all these resources to look at your things. And again, if you just go, you can play around and test out these things. I just signed up. I love Harry the H-Pawn Guide. Well, thank you, Marpant, for signing up. If you want full access to everything, you know, I should warn you, it is $9.99 a month. But of course, you get a lot of things with that, and we have to pay people like Bjorn and Chess Patzer UK, and we're trying to improve this all the time, make it better. We'd love to hear your feedback. Press this little orange button here, give us your feedback, and tell us how we can improve, because we are listening. All right, anyway, well, thank you for that. It was a nice long play game to start this Friday. Blair, I'm wondering if I can buy you a lunchtime beer now, if you're still listening, which I think my first beer of the week. So if you're up for that, then you know, let me know. And let's go and give someone a raid now. And who are we going to raid? I like raiding the smaller channels. Oh, Coach, Chess Coach. Now this guy's really, really underrated, and he needs to have more viewers. So please stay with him when we give him a raid. It's Andreas. He's very, very educational. And when we go and do that raid, I'm just like to wish you all a lovely weekend. Make sure you tune in for Sunday for my Halloween special, where I'm going to dress up as a lunatic or something. And have a great Friday. See you all later. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you, and goodbye for now. And well done again, Marpant. Well done on being world champion. I bet that sounds good, yeah? Congratulations. Bye for now.